Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief recap. Um, Today is Friday. Happy TGIF. All those Canadians, we have to have our taxes filed by 29th, so you have 1 week. Um, Friday's interesting day around TRI. Heading into the weekend, and of course, broader stock market and stuff's closed. So we actually like to set up our community with a nice little sort of prep for the weekend frivolities in cryptocurrencies. And we have one site, OG, who has actually just started up as an analyst at a company online. Um, and he comes on Fridays and gives a nice little presentation of what he's seeing in the crypto verse. And sort of anticipation of what to expect over the coming sessions. And actually, today's report was actually extremely bullish of altcoins. So we have no way of knowing exactly what the hell's going to happen here. But we are seeing a whole hell of a lot of W's coming in across altcoin charts, which, generally speaking, is a pretty good sign that, hey, maybe something's about to happen. And also, too, Bitcoin, in my opinion, I think we've sort of settled into a bit of a range here. So it actually opens up the window for the alts to enjoy a little bit of a relief rally. So we'll see how that goes. Should be a really interesting next couple days here for crypto kids. As well, too, probably worth mentioning, Happy Pizza Day, Bitcoin Pizza Day. The only pizza that in today's dollars cost you about $80 million. Well, what the hell? Fun jokes. So I always like to sort of keep the conversation focused on 3 or 4 sort of concepts for you guys here on this free video. Interestingly enough, I don't think the story has really changed a heck of a lot here over the past couple days. And in some of these markets, not really much has happened over even really the past month. So, sort of setting ourselves up with sort of, the hegemony proxy of the world. What is sort of the risk appetite of the world? And I think we are basically exactly the same market state that we've been in for, literally the past month or so, in that we are hurry up and just simply waiting. Are we waiting for the next shoe to drop? Are we waiting for the second wave of coronavirus issues? Are we waiting for, earnings reports from corporations and what's been the damage to them through the past few months? Are we waiting for, military confrontations in Southeast Asia? I don't know. Well, the long and short of it here is I still think the market is just sitting waiting for the next catalyst. Looking at the stock market, of course, we talked recently like risk on, risk off kind of thinking. It sure looks to me like we're kind of parked here. Remember, we did our options analysis, and on the S&P 500, there was a lot of incentive for them to keep the market above 295, but not let it go too much further, right? There's a lot of calls at 295, a lot of puts at like 295. So Wall Street wins if they take the market out at like 294.95, and what a coincidence, here we are at 294.5 right now. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we just simply get taken out at these levels here, roughly into the weekend. And the oil market, we actually, frankly speaking, I was quite pleased at how efficient, smooth, very consistent. The reason why I traded this as a prop crude trader is it's a fairly simple model to follow. And as you can see, it produced actually a very clean, very simple trade that hit its profit objective. And quite often what happens when we complete these harmonic patterns is you usually have a bit of a puke out at the other side. So really, that's actually business as usual. And it's kind of funny how, a month or so ago, I kind of hoped that we would just sort of settle down and oil just calm down. Maybe that's what's happening up against this mid $30 area is maybe what we have to do now And it's interesting actually because there's a bunch of assets that are looking like this, whether it be cryptocurrencies, whether it be stocks, whether it be commodities. My feeling right now is, sell in May and walk away. Seasonal weakness into the month of June. Brian's got one of his crazy celestial pivot events coming up here the beginning of July. So that would be sort of right in there. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if crude just takes the next month or so and just calms down and just relax. Maybe trade back down into this mid-20s. We'll see. Only time will tell. It's just purely my opinion, of course. Opinions don't really make money in the market. The only thing that makes money is trading these goddamn setups. When they come in, if you are a bot trader and it's in your plan, you got to take the goddamn trade it, make your money. Really, that's a trader's life. But anyway. So, risk on still appears to be enjoying a bit of wind at its back. But at the same time, too, we are getting a little bit of a perk up here on U.S. dollar index, so that must mean that Euro's looking a little soft. I did notice Euro's threatening to M out here. Maybe similar to the way that the U.S. dollar index is threatening to W out here. If we look at the bond market, same thing. Basically we haven't really resolved this range. We're just waiting, and wherever the break is, oh boy, it should be a big one. And, same thing with the gold, Interestingly enough, gold just having a really hard time getting going here. I wonder whether, the gold bulls maybe have exhausted themselves. We are actually starting to M out here a little bit. And that is now, you can see how the market's trying desperately to hold on to the upside of this little working trend line here. So, interestingly enough, the silver's actually starting to peter out a little bit on its face rip rally. So, if anything, the silver bulls, they would probably be like, we've had move stop to trailing the same way that I showed you on that crude oil chart. It's basically the same concept, same setup. So, we've had the move stop to trailing level. You've had your dump. Sort of reaction low, counter trend rally off of the lows. My hunch now probably is if you were in these bots with the move stop to trailing level, my hunch is probably a nice little move below that level. Back into the gap. Maybe you want to have your stop at the bottom of this tail kind of idea. But on that trailing, I would be exiting if we started to show signs failure over here. And with the understanding that you have your open order to sell at 1922 on a OCO basis. And really, if you had bought from 15 and change, we fail through here. Okay, well, you walk away with about $1.20, $1.30 profit. If we can just keep working our way higher, maybe paint higher highs and higher lows, you can move that stop up. But ultimately, you're looking for this 19 and change number. Well, we'll see how it goes. It's trader's life. Just trade them setups. Ironically enough, if you were in this gold and you were like, well, I'm going to take this bot and I'm going to trade it, your stop is still way down here. And I wouldn't even be surprised on the gold that we actually have to come back and probably play against that trend line there. It wouldn't surprise me at all. All right. Long and short of it here, no buy signals today. And if anything, I've got one gold stock on the books still. And I'm just wondering, it's actually threatening to double on me now. So I might actually have no choice but to sell it, sell half on a double. Because that's my trading plan. I have no choice. And I wasn't even really expecting these things to rally. I mean, look at this. This is crazy. It's straight line up. And you see the hole on the charts. The damn thing's coming back down here at some point. But, this is why you never really want to put yourself into a position where you don't have flexibility. So this stock, I loved it. And really, I don't even want to talk about gold here. But I picked up some down at the bottom end of the range. And I was just like, you know what? I just want it in my portfolio. I'm just going to buy it and forget about it. But if it goes and doubles, I have no choice. My plan says that if this thing doubles, get your original money back in your hands, create a risk-free trade, and just forget about the rest. So, that's pretty much what I'm going to do here. And frankly speaking, this really surprised me. I mean, that's one hell of a face rip straight up there. So that did actually catch me a bit by surprise. I will admit that. But anyway, back to our story. So gold itself, kind of nothing really to get too excited about here. And the bond, same sort of thing. It just looks to me like everybody's stuck in the mud waiting for that next shoe to drop. It's interesting. We're enjoying more rallies in the junior stock market, and as our little study suggests here, we had sort of said the big number there was 0.055 to be broken out to the upside, and here we are, 0.055. Are you going to break out through the upside? I'm not quite sure. But sure looks like, actually, and I guess these are all, probably even lower decimals. But, if we can take out this high, then I think that means the junior market can still run a bit more. So, make hay while the sun's shining. On this M, I actually was getting the impression that the rally was done, but the market's like, nope. So if anything, I like looking at these kind of studies, and I see this, and I go, okay, well, I'm not shitting my pants right now. There are no sell signals, and I'll keep, working order, sell halves on doubles, blah, blah, blah. And I don't really like the idea of shorting the stock market right here just yet. This doesn't feel like it's actually topped yet. So, speaking of crazy ass trades, hopefully everybody looks at this chart. I think you probably heard me talk about this before. This was kind of a funny one because, of course, when I talk about these stocks on the site, everybody buys, and we're all long from the double bottoms and the reload zones. So it's kind of an amusing story because we saw them running the stock up, but if TRI is long from like 60, 70 cents, guess where we're going to have our sell orders? Probably around $1.45, $1.50. So this was an amusing one where we could actually see the market makers run the stock up right into our blocks of sell orders, and then they were like, nah, I don't think so. They're just teasing us. We did get some people who got off trade, so, congrats, way to go, awesome. But, a guy like me, am I really in a hurry to give up on this name? I mean, look how far this thing, first and foremost, they put out a news release that had COVID in the subject matter. Woohoo! Is COVID going anywhere? Could they put out any more news releases about COVID? And I think they're building like software apps or something along those lines to track COVID, numbers and stuff. But, just look at this chart, and really all you people watching YouTube on YouTube, but you should look at this chart and go, duh, I can see why Beamish is in there. It's not really anything new. It's just rinse and repeat, but people just don't understand that this is the way the capitalist game is played by the institutions. You have to force yourself to come in and buy against the bottom of the ranges, and then, of course, if the thing does pop up, you gotta pay yourself. So, kind of a fun story. And, of course, we've got a nice profit cushion in here. I'm not really in a hurry to do anything. This is also, I would argue, a really good testament that, number one, I don't need the money. So, am I really that motivated to do anything here? No. Number two, I'm in from a pretty good level. So, actually, if I pull up my account statement, the position is green, and it's going to show plus X amount of dollars. So, that's good. The only real thing here is when to actually take profits, and that's, ironically enough, that's a big part of this, running your small business of trading. Try to get rid of the emotion, and my simple logic on a name like this is, well, first and foremost, I love selling half on a double, that kind of idea, but if I just simply look at the price range just over the past 6 months, this isn't even 52 weeks, this is just past 6 months. I see 50% rules here. Hopefully also, too, you see, well, gee whiz, there's a big old hole on the charts right there. Is it realistic? And gee whiz, there's some gaps all the way up there. Is it realistic for the market to trade up into this level at some point down the road? I think it's completely realistic. So what I have to do as a professional is not get wrapped up in this short-term stuff. They're trying to fuck with my brain. They're trying to get me to panic and dump on, like they just pull the bids out from underneath the market, but I'm not really in any hurry. I'll just leave my order working and just go about doing other stuff. So it's just a really good example of capitalism, just at work, just running my small business of trading. Great analogy. Heading on over to corn and crypto, and I think as I had sort of said to start, in fact, actually our daily brief was like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes this morning. Very long because Colin had so much to share with the community, which was great. Looking at this chart, we sort of talked about this yesterday. Lots and lots of traffic up top. Very, very heavy. I don't think the crypto market's ready to break, though. Like, I don't see anything. The Fed's not come out and said we're taking the punch bowl away, so you don't have to worry about that. Does it really make a difference to Bitcoin if China and the United States go to war? Probably not. So I suppose you could argue that Bitcoin as a risk proxy, maybe that's got something to do with it. But really, I might argue that, for something like Bitcoin, we had this massive fundamental driver, the halving event. And as I had said earlier, happy Bitcoin Pizza Day. I guess the way I look at this is actually what would be natural and healthy is if we just calm down. One tool that we talked about in the daily brief today was using Bollinger Bands to try and help you see volatility come out of the market. And when Bollinger Bands squeeze, that's an excellent time to start thinking about taking a position. So, just for the purposes of this, I'll just throw on a Bollinger Bands. And you can see the squeeze. See how the bands came in and squeezed nice and tightly here? That's kind of what you want to see to sort of mark the next move, right? And you can see how they squeezed in here. So the bands are still pretty wide, right? They are coming together, but you can see the slope is still coming out a bit. I would like to see this upper band come down in and just squeeze in here. And as I've said repeatedly, should we get that sort of 2016 replication of price action, then I think that that's exactly what happens here. The cool part about this, though, is that this actually probably paints maybe like a week-long window where the alts can have some fun. And we're seeing that a lot. I like to follow this little matrix of ideas I've been nibbling away on. And look at these things. Look at this ONT. Poof. Big jump up. I've talked to you guys about Algorand recently. Look how he's getting ready to go. My little Mena. We had a fun joke this morning in the call. Sure hope you went and got your Mana and you're going to decentralized land. And everybody's like, not everybody, but people are like, well, I go to decentralized land, but what the hell do you do there? You just stand there and pick your nose. So anyway, I don't know what they have planned. Maybe a big promotional things are coming down the pike. But, the chart speaks for itself. I mean, you can see the dump. You can see the consolidation. And really cool how the consolidations come right in off of where I picked this stuff up. But, gee whiz, what letter of the alphabet we got going on there? So, something's brewing here. It's just another example. And, gee whiz, there's a whole bunch of them, Look at this Ambrosius, something's broken there. I mean, the point here is that we're actually starting to remember that storage we talked about there the other day. Look at that pop. Ooh, look at this one, RVN. You can see it just taking off as we speak here. So the W's are coming in. And this just is a hodgepodge list. There's some other names that Colin talked about today that look even way better than this. This was another one. I kind of like these guys, Komodo. I mean, you should look at this chart and you go, gee whiz, this looks so cliche. We can draw reload zones. And you go something like that. Okay, well, at or below reload zones, I can think about being a buyer. We can put like big green boxes in there. Doink. And gee whiz, I don't know whether you can see this. This is a great example. This is really like a reload zone within a reload zone. RLZs within RLZs. Super sexy. And look at this. You actually have the most prettiest little W that came right in off of like a double 78.6 level. Talk about a level. I mean, I don't know what the hell this damn thing's going to do, but that's one hell of a level. Learn this, people. I mean, if you need help, consider joining our school. This is what we teach people. Identify levels. Once you're at a level, look for your indicator confirmation that, hey, price is actually stronger than what price is leading you to believe. Then find some sort of structure. And W's are great for buying, so you can frame the risk that you're going to take. And away you go. So, really good example of just running your small business of trading. Nobody's in the public's talking about this stuff right now, but, you know, you tell me. And actually, this probably isn't the best example, but if I change the symbol to something like KMD, actually, maybe we can see this on Trex. Let's see if this works. I don't know what this defaults to. Oh, yeah, there we go. So can we get some half decent data here? Let's see what we get. Doesn't really show that much. But, you know, even off of this chart, you know, and this is just going back to August of last year. I think you can make the argument that, you know, revisit of old highs. There's a good old mountain man sitting up top there. We probably draw a trend line off of these peaks. I'm just blabbering now. Sorry, everybody. Ooh, I kind of like this. So, you know, just even in the short term, you can see probably a move up into the sevens. Ideally, to see that this thing has turned, I would like to see a W over here. But, you know, like we were saying there just a moment ago, you know, if you zipped in at 5,700, geez, nice rally up into the 7,000s just to come into this wick a bit. I think you'd probably see 2 to 1s are starting to set up here nicely. Right? Even if we just go there. Yeah, what the hell is this? Oh, well, you know what? We don't even look at it bother. Anyway, food for thought, something to think about. Have yourselves an awesome rest of your day. Try and remember what your number one job as a trader is to do. Interesting to see that shit perp index pressing up into our ABCD level. Again, more anecdotal evidence that the alts look like they want to pop here. So get out there and have some fun. Gee whiz, what a great altcoin market for the weekend. All right, everybody. Of course, we'll see you all probably for the broiler chicken show on Sunday. So maybe we'll highlight which alts popped and made people Lambos through the weekend. Who knows? Have some fun. Get out there and play from a position of strength. Remember what your number one job as a trader is to do. Trade them setups. PMA for the win. All the best. And bye for now.